want to tell you something that I don't usually like to say out loud. You know, there are seasons in life where I've worked very hard to be good. I've shown up, I've served, I've done the right things quietly, consistently, without being asked. And somewhere in the middle of all of that doing, I started keeping score. Not consciously always. Definitely not with a spreadsheet. But somewhere deep down, I started believing that if I just kept at it, if I was just faithful enough, responsible enough, present enough, that maybe it would mean something. That it would be noticed. That it would be enough. Maybe you know that feeling. The exhaustion that comes from not from the work itself, but from needing the work to prove something. The weight of performing goodness instead of simply living from it. Here's what I've come to understand. That kind of striving usually isn't born from love. Duh. It's born from fear. Fear of being overlooked. Fear that your presence doesn't matter. Fear that love has to be won. Fear that if we stop, we won't matter. If God doesn't want us to live that way. Last week, we looked at the prodigal who ran. The one who took his inheritance and disappeared. But today, we're going to look at the other son, the one who stayed. Not everyone runs away from God. Some of us try to stay very close. The responsible ones, the dependable ones. The one who shows up. The ones who serve. Who do the right thing. We are the ones that people can count on. Or at least we think. And if we're honest, sometimes we quietly hope someone will notice. We've done things right. We've been responsible. We've held it together while other people just seemed to unravel. And somehow they got celebrated and we just kept going. Maybe it's a sibling who seems to coast through life while you carry the weight of the family. Or maybe it's a coworker who doesn't try as hard but gets the recognition. Maybe it's someone in your own spiritual journey. Someone who wandered away and came back and seems to have this effortless, joyful faith while yours has always been a little harder, a little more dutiful. Maybe it's even with God. We don't say it out loud, but somewhere deep inside, there's this thought. I've been faithful, God. Doesn't that count for something? I've done the right things. Shouldn't that mean something? I've stayed. Shouldn't I feel closer to you? I've had enough faith. Shouldn't you have healed me by now? Timmy and I had a conversation kind of similar to this week. In our church, in our group of churches, we have an annual event for pastors. It's called, it's pastors and lay leaders to meet together. It's called District Assembly. And I told Tammy that I don't really like to go to it. This year it was up in Tumwater, and I don't like to go. Some of it feels a little fake to me, to be honest with you. But mostly, I don't like to go to it because sometimes it makes me feel overlooked. Like I don't measure up as a pastor. I know it's not true, but it feels that way. Some of it makes me feel like a player who's good enough to play varsity football, but is playing for the C team. That's how I sometimes feel. And I wonder, could it be instead that sometimes what we feel is based more on exhaustion? Because it's possible to do all the right things for the wrong reasons. It's possible to live a life that looks faithful on the outside but feels heavy on the inside. And that kind of life wears you out. think we have all experienced that at different places in our lives. And it's one of those things where we kind of feel and kind of know and just experience that heaviness. So let's look at the story that Jesus told in Luke 15. The younger son runs away, comes home broken, and the father throws a party. Woohoo! Let's go! Yay! Now listen to what happens next. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. And instead of joining the celebration, he stands outside, pouting, mad. The older brother became angry and refused to go in. Why? Because everything he just believed about love got disrupted. Listen to these words. All these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Did you catch it? Did you hear it? All these years I've been slaving for you. That's not freedom. This is a man who started with love and ended with labor. His obedience became performance without him even realizing it. Slaving. I mean, that's a strong word. Not loving, not serving, not belonging, but slaving. That's a perspective. One that we've often listened to and heard ourselves and participated in. If you've ever studied love languages, what we're here is essentially transactional love. I've given you acts of service. Where are my words of affirmation? Where's my quality time? Love has become a ledger. So last week, we looked at a video from the perspective of the younger brother. Now let's watch from the older brother's perspective.
Mom, come here! Caleb, stop it right now. Get it off. What is happening?
Mommy attacked me.
Nuh-uh, he started it.
We don't physically hurt people. What were you thinking?
I hate you.
Kayla,
I hate you so much.
don't say that.
I hate you too. I hate you the most. I hope you all die.
What happened?
I don't know.
I'm gonna give your brother a few minutes to calm down, but before I talk to him, I want to know the truth. What happened?
Hey, you're going this time.
Sorry you can't hurt me.
I'm sorry. Have you seen your brother? No. He's not in his room.
No.
He always comes back.
From where? Where did he go?
I don't know, but you shouldn't say things like that.
Yeah. It's a nice day out. What should we do?
Well, first I better clean up Caleb's mess. There's also been some jobs that you and Dad. Oh, Caleb? 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 set the table?
Yeah, sure. Make sure you grab enough for your brother, too. Zachary?
So, I didn't know we hired professional landscapers today.
Thought I did a good job.
Good, buddy. I think your mow lines are straighter than mine.
Oh, you saw how I filled the gas back up?
He worked very hard.
I can tell. So, buddy, since you're a professional lawn expert now, what do you say we upgrade to a riding mower and we...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, Caleb. I'm so glad you're back. I made all your favorites. And I saved a place just for you. Zach. There you are. Can I sit? Why'd you run away just now?
I didn't run away. He ran away. He's a stupid baby.
I think your brother actually had a pretty hard day.
No, I had a hard day.
Okay. Can you tell me about it?
I cleaned up his mess. I mowed the grass. I cleaned up the whole yard and the garden. I set the table. I did everything.
I know, I saw.
And he didn't. I just kept watching for him, but what he did, he did whatever he wanted. I did whatever you wanted.
What I wanted.
Yeah.
Do you remember the day you got Mr. Fuzz?
Yeah.
You hated him, right?
No.
Really? You sure?
Yeah. I loved him.
What did he ever do to make you love him?
Nothing. I just did.
Exactly. We had the whole day together. That's all I wanted. Come on. I made some chocolate cake to celebrate.
I think a lot of us can relate more to the older brother than we realize. I'm not sure what motivated him. Whether he was really trying to impress his mom or if it was guilt that he had caused the whole incident in the first place. You ever done that? I think we all have. Did you notice what he did at the end? He shut the door back on the relationship. We've all had those moments where we've ran from God. But most of us have spent most of our time just trying to stay. Trying to be good, trying to be consistent, trying to get it right. And yet, this is the quiet question that keeps creeping into our lives. If I've done everything so right, why do I still feel so empty? We look around and we see other people receiving grace and it seems effortless for them. They don't try as hard as I do. They don't carry what I carry. They don't sacrifice like I sacrifice. And if we're not careful, comparison turns into resentment. Not loud resentment, but quiet resentment. The kind that smiles on Sunday but questions God on Monday. Here's the truth. Resentment often grows not because we've done something wrong, but because somewhere along the way we started believing love was something we had to earn. Transactional. I do this, so I get that. I serve, so I'm seen. I obey, so I'm loved. But that's not how we were created to live. What the film helps us feel is what the text shows us. The older brother's tragedy isn't his obedience, it's his misunderstanding. So there's a few things I want to look at, things we should sit with. First, faithfulness can quietly become performance. And a performance, have you ever been to I went last night and saw the Ridgefield High School play. That's a performance. Being somebody you are not really. Being somebody to try to portray, to have everybody else believe you are somebody that you are not really. When we begin to believe that our worth depends on our consistency, what once flowed from love starts to be driven by fear. Fear of being overlooked, replaced, forgotten. The older brother, it wasn't wrong for him to serve and to be dutiful and obey and all those things. He was wrong to believe that serving was what held the relationship together. Second, resentment grows when love feels scarce. Think about that for a minute. That's true in relationships, in human relationships. That's true in our relationship with God. That's true in so many different ways because we feel like, well, maybe love feels scarce. The older brother's anger reveals a hidden assumption that grace has to be divided and measured. That is, if his brother got more, he would get less. But that's not how God works. One person receiving mercy does not mean there's less left for you. God's grace is not a limited resource that you can measure and put in a cup. Third, grace feels threatening when we think we've earned more than others. The older brother isn't upset that grace exists, but what he's upset is that it disrupts the system he's been living by. Grace dismantles comparison. It invites us out of scorekeeping and into relationship. And here's the tragedy of the older brother. He believed love had to be earned and kept. And when grace was freely given to his brother, it felt unfair, threatening even. Because grace dismantles that system of earning. And this is exactly what Paul was saying in Ephesians 2 that we read earlier. For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith, not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. Grace is a gift. Not a reward, not a paycheck, not something you achieve, not a badge you get, not by works, not by consistency, not by showing up every Sunday or serving every week or never missing a commitment. It is a gift. A gift. So this week, I told you we had 2 one-year-old birthday parties. Tammy and I got to attend both of them, and what a thrill it was. What a thrill it was to be able to just say, hey, You know what, Ezra? You know what, Rhea? You have done nothing for me, but here's a gift. You have done absolutely nothing for me. Not a cotton-picking thing, but I have a gift. Because you're special. Because God created you. Because God loves you. Because God loves you, I love you. And because I'm your pastor, I love you. And because it's just fun to be around you. So little Ray and Ezra got these gifts from lots of people, different people. And it was a gift. Think about that for a minute. They didn't do a thing to deserve it or to earn it. But God gave them this gift. That's what salvation is. That's what the Christian life is supposed to be about. Freely given, beyond our ability to achieve, deserve, or even strive for it. That was Jesus' whole point in coming. So we wouldn't have to suffer for it. So we wouldn't have to earn it. Because you know what? We never could. And we never can. It's a gift. Here's why this matters. Because if you think love is something you earn, you'll always feel like you're falling behind. And if you think grace is limited, you'll resent when somebody else receives it. But God's grace is not a limited resource. Someone else being loved does not mean there's less love for you. Someone else receiving mercy does not mean you've been overlooked. The older brother was physically close to the father, but relationally distant. And it's possible. It's possible to sit in church every week, to serve faithfully, to do all the right things, and still feel far from God. Not because he moved, but because we misunderstood his heart. This week's perspective is unearned love. Last week it was unconditional love. Here's a good description or definition of both of these. Unconditional love says, you can't do anything more to make God love you less. Unearnable love says, you can't do anything more to make God love you more. Both are a love that hopefully transforms, changes, and should be the root of who we are. So let me ask you, where have you been keeping score? Where has your obedience started to feel heavy? With God, your family, or your church? Where does faithfulness feel more like a burden than a gift? Where's your faith started to feel like pressure instead of peace? Where have you quietly believed, I gotta earn this? Maybe you're tired. Maybe you've been doing the right things for a long time and it's starting to feel like no one has noticed, including God. You can bring that to the Father. He's not standing at the door with a clipboard, taking attendance, checking things, making sure everything's perfect. He went out. This is good news. He went out to meet the older brother too. He didn't wait for him to come inside. The Father went out to the older brother. What if love was never something you had to prove in the first place? What if the grace that feels threatening to you, the grace that seems undeserved, the grace that frustrates your sense of fairness, what if that same grace is the very thing that's being offered to you right now? Maybe today God is inviting you to lay that down, to stop striving, to stop performing, to stop trying to prove something that's already been given. In a few moments, we're going to come to this table together. The table of communion is the most anti-transactional thing we do as a church. You don't earn a right to eat at this table. You don't qualify by how faithful you've been this week or this year, or how many times you showed up, or how little you've sinned. You come because you're invited, because it's a gift. The bread and the cup are not rewards. They are reminders. They remind us that Jesus didn't come to start a performance review. He came to end the struggle. He came to say, you cannot earn this, and you don't have to. It is finished. For the older brother in the story, and for the older brother in all of us, the invitation today is the same as the one the Father gave at the door. Come inside. The celebration is for you too. And on that night Jesus was betrayed, he didn't gather perfect people. He gathered disciples who were about to fail him, deny him, run from him. And he broke the bread anyway. Because his love was never based on their performance. And it's not based on yours either. So today, as we come to the table, don't come as someone trying to prove something. Come as a son. Come as a daughter. Come as someone who is already loved. So we will play a song, and what I'm going to invite you to do is move towards the center aisle and to come and receive and pick up the elements and grab a piece of bread and a cup of juice, and then return to your seat and wait and reflect on whether you've been trying to strive or not. You don't have to be a member of this church. You just have to know that you're invited and know that you're loved, and you're responding to that. And if you're uncomfortable taking communion, that's okay as well. But I want to invite you to participate, knowing that it's not earned, that you can never get it all. And then we will participate in communion at the end of the song together.